So I only got 2 minutes too, and I very dutifully wrote a 2-minute speech because it had to be written, because it had to be translated, the usual kind of stuff. And I will give the speech. But I do want to say that I can't really explain to you quite what it's like to be here after all these years. And to see the people who've been touched by the MASC program. Jan and I always knew that would happen somewhere deep inside us, but when you actually get to see it, it's just really, really moving. And I do want to say, I've said this before, many of you will have heard me say this. I also want to say now that one of the ways that you know you've done a good job is when the people that come after you do a better one. And I really, really would say that this organization is... And I did say to myself when I wrote my speech I wasn't going to do this, but I am. I just want to bring Jan into the room for a minute, partly because there's been so much about the young authors, which was really her project. She was a woman who, of deep passions of many kinds, from everything from words to mountain climbing. And she cared, and every book that she ever wrote was about the fact that every child that read that book would find out and feel that they had what they needed to make a good life, no matter what their circumstances were. She always wrote about hard things, but she always made it clear that we all have what we need to make a good life. And when I see these young people here who've struggled with various problems, I just know how moved Jan would be by that, to see them making a good life, even when what they were given to begin it with might not have been perfection. So to all those people and to all of you here, I just take too much of my 2 minutes. But really what the thing that I wrote was, this is a birthday party. And it seemed to me that the thing that one of the co-founders of this organization could do at a birthday party was just really thank the people who've made this splendid organization survive and grow ever since my partner Jan and I dreamed up this odd idea around a kitchen table. My first thanks would go to the hundreds and hundreds of artists who've committed to making creative experiences widely available and have chosen a particular kind of creativity and to work in places that are not necessarily very open to what they're doing, in circumstances that can be quite difficult because they care about what happens to these young people. Then I would remember those educators who have held fast to the notion that artistic experiences are absolutely essential and a vital part of lifelong learning. And this in the face of so many competing demands for time and resources. Without funders, MASC wouldn't have been begun, let alone gone on for 35 years. And I'd especially thank the foundations and individuals and companies who have chosen to support MASC. Because they have known that feeding imaginations, intellects, and spirits is as essential for meaningful human development as meeting immediate material needs. Over the years, MASC has been staffed by an astonishing richness of creative administrators. Almost without exception, the staff has been generous, committed, hardworking, collegial. They've undertaken this work because they believe in it, because they love it, even when the financial rewards are not what they ought to be. Then there are all the volunteers, the ones that Stefan mentioned, the ones who met him at the Young Authors Conference, those volunteers who supported the artist's work and made welcomes for young people in places that welcome has enabled them to make the best of the experiences offered. I would especially mention those dedicated volunteers who put time into being board members. It's a special pleasure for me today to welcome 3 of the original members of the MASC board who've come here today to be with you all. And without them, without the support that they gave to Jan and I, this wouldn't, MASC would never have happened. So see if you can find them. They're sitting at the back there. Esther Tarazowski, Maria Otarola, and Donna Lindo. Oh, I'm sorry, I pointed the wrong way. Yeah, that's very typical. As I consider all these people who have made MASC work possible, there's a word that keeps coming back to me, and that word is courage, creative courage. These are times when the highest values tend to be put on things that can be carefully measured, seen, felt, touched, and quantified. When so many people are putting all their energies into their material lives. A commitment to making creative and artistic experience more accessible, when there is so much pressure to sideline this work of the Spirit, call it simply an extra, a pleasant entertainment. It takes courage, a broad and compassionate vision of what human beings can be, to put resources in and stand up and be counted as somebody who believes in the things of the Spirit. So as I look out over this grand assembly, I think of all the people who aren't here that have been part of MASC, including Jen. And I would thank all of you here from the bottom of my heart that you have this kind of courage. I would thank you for your vision, for your imagination, as well as for all the many different kinds of specific support you have offered MASC over the years. I know that with your continued support and with the commitment of other courageous and visionary people who will come forward in the future, the next 35 years will be as rich and as vibrant as the last have been. So, over to all of you. Thank you.